dance can be used so flexibly in all kinds of ways. And in this past 3 years, I've been working with Lee Mayo at Lilburn Downing Middle School, and she is this amazing English teacher there. I wish I had had someone like that teaching me English when I was in 6th grade. And we work together. She appoints a unit study at the beginning of the year and gives this title for the unit study. And then I come in every other week and I teach a workshop, an hour-and-a-half length workshop for 30 kids at a time. So it's 2 workshops every other week. And we weave the curriculum together of the unit study of the language arts program with dance theory, applied dance theory, and letting the kids move through their lessons. And that's, to me, what is so important and so valuable, is that we are moving beings that some of us can't think unless we are in motion, unless we are active and actually doing the thing that we're trying to learn about. So the main purpose of all of that is that we compare and actually embody the process, the creative process, that same process that is used in writing and structuring sentences, paragraphs, papers, reports. It's the same process that a choreographer goes through making a dance. All of these dances that you saw here today, it's incredible how alike those two things are. So the kids get to actually do. They get to see their work put together in a creative way. I'm going to be reading today from journal entries because that's a major component of the Moving Arts Initiative, is that the students are asked to write and keep a journal about their work with the Moving Arts Initiative. And all of their language arts studies centers around that journal writing, and Ms. Mayo is amazing at giving creative exercises. The kids, this unit study this term has been energy. And Rich Hastings has been studying energy in his science classes, also at Lilburn Downing. And the name of this dance is The Energy Is You. We named it that. We studied all different kinds of energy, and I'm sure everybody here is aware of the decisions that we're going to be having to make as a society about where we're going to be getting our energy and how we're going to spend it. But the energy that we're talking about today is specifically our human energy, embodied in each individual. And so the kids studied about their first memory of movement, what they first remember, how they remember moving. They've studied about the 6 limbs, head, tail, 2 arms, 2 legs. The 7th limb is a virtual limb, the projection of the vision. We studied about the 5 energies in every motion. And I'm going to do this really quickly. Anne, is it possible to bring up the house lights one more time? I know everybody's ready, and I know the kids are back there waiting. But I would like to just do a little exercise real quick, if we can bring the house lights up. And I don't know if this is possible. I'll go ahead and give you your instructions. There are 5 energies to every movement, everything you do, and this is universal. All moving energy can be divided into 5 different components. And the first energy that is required for any movement is the energy of yielding, finding your support. So the theater's dark, that must mean Anne is like, don't go back, no, can't reverse the lighting. So in your dark seat, this is what I'd like you to do, is close your eyes. And I want you to experience the support of your seat, the chair, the theater chair underneath you. And see if you can, with your next inhale, sink a little more deeply into that seat. That is the action of finding the support for your movement. And then the next thing I want you to do is I want you to imagine, just beyond your reach, over your head, is something that you're really wanting, something that you really want in your life, something that you've been perhaps planning on getting, something that you've been working toward. Imagine that just over your head, out of reach. And then with one of your arms on the arm of the seat, sinking down into the chair, I want you to start to push yourself up out of your chair. That's the energy of push. We're going to get a theater full of dark. It's dark, I know, but. And then take your arm and reach for that thing that is above your head. Grab a hold of it, and then pull it back into you and sit down. I don't know how many people actually were able to do that because it's totally dark out there. That is what you're getting ready to see. The five components to the energy that is needed for every movement. Yielding, finding your support, pushing into that support, reaching, grasping the thing that you want, and then pulling it to you. This energy is you. And so, I think, are the students ready? I know you are. Give me a head, say yes. I'm ready. Here we go. I'm going to be reading from their journals, chosen entries. The very first memory I ever had was standing in the kitchen of my grandmother's house at 12 o'clock p.m. and being scared. I was wearing my yellow and red cotton sundress and I was drinking hot chocolate. I remember being terrified. My mother was having her second baby. Would the baby be okay? Would my mom be all right? I didn't know whether the baby would like me or not. A small part of me wondered if my mom would still love me. Then the next thing I remember is being at home and my mom showing me my brother. He was beautiful. Then I knew that I loved my brother, and I still do. When I was born, my mom came to the hospital in the morning. I was born around 11 o'clock a.m. When I was coming out, my head was so big it wouldn't fit, so they sucked me out with a vacuum. And because of that, I had a cone-shaped looking head. I also had a bunch of jet black hair. That is the story of my birth. A very early memory. I was in a barn, listening halfway to the old man. I couldn't peel my eyes off the pony in front of me. I was holding a carrot in my hand. Eventually, I got to sit on the pony's back, and I rode out of the dusty barn. I rode the pony down the driveway. I stopped as the familiar pea-shaped gravel ended. I turned the pony around and headed back to the barn. The old man smiled at me and said, "You'll get there someday, squirt." My birth was in a way climactic. I was supposed to be born on Valentine's Day, but I was born 2 weeks later on the 28th of February. My mother didn't want a C-section, so they waited and waited. It was 6 o'clock p.m. when I was born in the Augusta Medical Clinic. I was born on December 22nd, 1999 at 7:47 p.m. at Stonewall Jackson Hospital in Lexington, Virginia. My mom was going Christmas shopping at Target with my aunt, and her back was hurting. She didn't know why it was hurting, so she called the doctor, and the doctor told her to come in the next morning. She came in the next morning at 9. She had me that night at 7:47. While I was being born, Almost half of my family was there waiting for me to be born. I weighed 7 pounds and 8 ounces. That's big for a baby, but now I only weigh 103 pounds. My first memory was when I was 2 and I cut my hair. It was about 5 o'clock and my parents were busy preparing dinner. I went to my closet and got my purple scissors out of my pencil box. I went to sit down at my craft table and huddled over myself and started snipping. Half an hour later, my mom said it was time for dinner. I knew she couldn't see my hair or she would be furious. So I got a hat from my closet. I got busted a few days later, and to this day, one side of my hair is shorter than the other. My birth was pretty normal, except I was born way before my due date. I was born in El Paso, Texas, where my dad was stationed for work. They knew I was having problems with my lungs, and at first they even thought I was a twin. And then when I was born premature, they thought I was going to die. They even had a helicopter outside the hospital to take my mom and I away to another hospital. Right when I was about to be born, the doctor told my mom that when I came out, my eyes would be closed and I wasn't going to cry since I wasn't ready to be born. So they were very worried. Then I came out and my eyes were opened and I was crying. So they were all wrong. But I still had a lot of problems. They eventually fixed them. That is the story of my birth.